Hi everyone, so this has been a highly requested video, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about some products and some tips on getting frizz-free curls. But first of all, I just want to say that those of you who have curly hair will know that there is nothing that can ensure you frizz-free hair 100% of the time. Curly hair kind of has a mind of its own, and you can use the exact same products and the exact same steps one day and then use them the next day and it'll be completely different. So you have to bear that in mind. And the other thing is, I haven't got 100% frizz-free hair because I kind of like a bit of frizz. I think it adds a kind of sort of boho look to your hair in a way, and I don't like really defined, done looking curls. I prefer them to kind of look quite messy and natural. So if you're someone that kind of likes the very defined curl, then that's fine, but I like it for my hair to have just a little bit of kind of loose texture, if that makes sense. But I'm going to talk to you first about a few kind of frizz creating myths that are around. And when I say myths, I just mean that these were things that every kind of hairdresser, and if you search on YouTube, a lot of places will tell you these things, and they're things that I don't necessarily agree with. The first one is to never dry your hair with a towel, to always use a cotton shirt or something like that, because that helps eliminate frizz. Well, in theory that should be true because of the fibres on the hair. For me, I found it didn't make any difference, and it was just more inconvenient for me to have to dry my hair with a cotton shirt than doing it with a towel. So I just kind of get out the shower with my hair soaking wet, scrunch the excess water up in a towel, and then I wrap it up in one of those kind of towel turbans. This one is just the Soap and Glory one, and I wrap my hair up in it. I don't leave my hair in it for too long, probably about 10 minutes if that, while I'm just kind of moisturising and getting dressed, and then that kind of makes my hair not, you know, it's not dry by any means, but it kind of takes the majority of the soaking wetness out of it. And then another thing that happens when you search on YouTube a lot is the co-washing method. Now, co-washing is basically not using shampoo in your hair and only using conditioner. And while in theory it should work, you know, they're kind of similar ingredients, shampoo isn't particularly good for your hair and all that kind of thing. I gave it 2 months. About 2 years ago I tried it, and it really didn't work for me. My hair just felt really kind of lackluster, and my hair didn't feel clean, and I just really didn't like it. And I think 2 months is a long enough amount of time to be able to kind of determine whether or not it works for you. So that didn't work for me, but by all means, if both of those things work for you, that's great. They're just kind of things that everyone would recommend for curly hair, and I've tried, and I can personally say that they didn't work for me, so they might not necessarily work for you as well. So the first tip is an absolute must have for me, and that is to never brush your hair while it's dry. Nothing ruins curls for me like brushing your hair when it's dry. I might even one time just brush my hair when it's curly and dry, just to show you kind of what it does. But if you've got curly hair, I'm sure that you know that the way to go is to brush your hair when it's wet with conditioner on it. Yes, it's not particularly good for your hair your hair is kind of in that vulnerable state, but at the same time you should really avoid brushing your hair when it's dry, because that really does create a ton of frizz for me, and I feel like it just leaves my hair with a kind of really horrible kind of texture, and it's always really knotty, and it's just not a good idea to do that if you have really curly hair. Then another thing is when it comes to drying your hair, I think the best way to kind of avoid getting frizz in your hair is to let your hair dry naturally. By that meaning, you know, just let it air dry. Even in the winter, sometimes it doesn't dry and I end up going to bed with it wet, which can be a kind of blessing in disguise or a disaster. Some nights I can go to bed with it wet and wake up in the morning and it's really big and defined and lovely, and then other days, like today for example, it's just kind of not quite with it. But don't be tempted to kind of dry it with a normal hair dryer. If you do have to dry your hair, then use a diffuser. A diffuser is basically an attachment that goes onto your hair dryer like this, and you use it to, where is the hair dryer? Here it is. You use it to dry your hair. So you take it and you pop it onto the end of the hair dryer like this, and then you kind of put your hair in it and scrunch it up and dry it that way. I don't tend to use a diffuser just because I find it takes a really long time for me to dry my hair that way, but if you want to dry your hair and you're kind of rushed for time, it is a great way of doing it, especially if your hair's curly. That diffuser was the Nikki Clark one. I can't remember the model number of it, but you can get diffusers pretty much anywhere and they're fairly inexpensive as well. But that's a great way of doing it. It's just that if you use a normal hairdryer, it tends to kind of give your hair kind of little small frizzes that just go everywhere. Then another tip is to use products that are targeted for curly hair, especially when it comes to shampoo and conditioner. I don't know what it is about this, but it just works. If you're using products that are targeted at oily hair when it comes to shampoo and conditioner, they really do make a difference to the outcome and the shape of your curl. I'm using at the moment the Tigi Catwalk Curl Collection Curlesque Defining Shampoo and Hydrating Conditioner. I haven't been using these long enough to kind of do a full review about them or anything, but use products that are targeted at curly hair because they will help to define your curls much more than just using a regular shampoo and conditioner. Even if they're a really amazing shampoo and conditioner, you should be using, at least with shampoo, I think, a shampoo that's targeted at curly hair in particular, because it does help eliminate the frizz factor. Then another thing that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but I find a lot of people are kind of on two different camps about it, is when it comes to products. I absolutely swear by hair mousse and curl creams. Now this is the Boots curl cream from the Boots Essential line, and for a while there was talk of this being discontinued, you couldn't get it. You can find this in Boots stores now. I've been to several different ones and I've seen it. Online it goes in and out of stock quite regularly. I'm not sure if it's online at the moment. If it is, I will link it in the down bar. And for those of you who don't live in the UK, I'm not sure where you can get this. I have looked, there are a couple of websites, but they didn't look particularly trustworthy, shall we say, so I don't want to recommend a website and you order something from it and then it turns out to kind of not arrive or to just have been a waste of time and money. So I'm not going to recommend anywhere you can get it from. Have a look on eBay, maybe sometimes people might sell them, I don't know. But anyway, curl cream is really amazing because it really does help define your curls, and I just use a small amount of it, rub it in between the palms of my hands and really kind of scrunch it into my hair, and it really does help to define and make your curls look a lot more kind of round and frizz-free. And then hair mousse is another one. This is the Loreal elvive Curl Control Defining Mousse. This isn't my favourite, I'm just using this at the moment, but when it comes to kind of hair mousses, I'm not particularly fussy as long as it's one that's for curly hair. But using a hair mousse is really great because I find it helps to kind of revive your hair and build quite a bit of body into your hair, which is really important to help give that kind of really tousled look. And then another thing that's really great is if you do suffer from frizz caused by dryness, which I know a lot of people do, a great thing for that is hair oils. There are lots of different kinds, Moroccan oil, the VO5 oil. This is the one I'm using at the moment, and it's the Loreal elvive Extraordinary Oil. I really like it. It's got really light kind of texture and it's just really kind of smooth and silky. But if you have got dry hair, I haven't got dry hair, but if you have got dry hair, an oil is a really great thing to kind of incorporate into your routine because it helps to kind of eliminate frizz and give your hair that kind of added shot of moisture that can sometimes, if your hair's a bit parched, shall we call it, then it can tend to look more frizzy. And then for kind of added texture and that kind of thing, this is the Tigi Curls Rock Curl Booster. They've discontinued this particular one. I've had this for ages. It's empty. It's been in a bag to be in an empties video for the past 2 months. But they've discontinued this. They've got a different one now called the Curl Amplifier, which is basically the same product. Amazing. You can get it from Feel Unique, and this is really great to kind of add some life and some body into your hair without making it even more frizzy. And another product that I like is the Charles Worthington Rough and Tousled Salt Spray for texturized volume and waves. And what you can do with this is to just kind of spray it into wet hair or dry hair, but if you just spray it into your hair and just kind of give your hair especially around the top part. Sorry about that, my postman has this tendency to always come when I'm in the middle of filming. It's really annoying, but yeah, so that adds a kind of nice amount of texture. And if you want to kind of proof your hair from the elements, because especially if you live somewhere like the UK where it's windy, it's rainy, it can sometimes be snowy, it can sometimes be quite humid as well, then a really great thing for that is Hairspray. Loreal elviv, not elviv, Loreal elnette, sorry, I've said elviv too many times in this video now, it's kind of programmed in my brain, is my favourite hairspray. It has been for years and years. There's a reason it's so iconic, and that's because it's just the best hairspray. I don't like the smell of it. I wish they kind of gave it a nice smell, but it just smells of hairspray basically. This is the very volume one, and if you're going out and you know you're going to be out and about, just give your hair a quick mist with some hairspray, and it will help to kind of lock in the shape and prevent the frizz. And another thing that you want to remember is to really try and not touch your hair. And I know that you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? You're constantly touching your hair. But it does really make a difference if you're not touching your hair. So every time I do this, which is about 6 million times a day, I'm kind of contributing to the frizziness of my hair. But it's just kind of a force of habit. But especially try not to touch your hair while it's drying. If you're letting it air dry, try not touch it, because then what happens is you kind of get, I feel like you just get too much air into it or something, and it just kind of doesn't form the most uniform curl. But that's it. Those are my kind of top tips for getting frizz-free curls. They're all very simple tips. It's kind of common sense. There's nothing too much to it. And I know that a lot of people are always commenting about the curly girl method, and yes, I have read it. It didn't work for me. It's not my kind of thing, and I will be doing an updated hair routine soon-ish, but I haven't been using any products that have wowed me, and I don't want to just kind of do a video and be like, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. So yeah, apart from that, that is all I wanted to share with you. And another thing I just wanted to mention as well quickly is that I'm going to be doing kind of a few videos on this channel about kind of advice videos, because I did the love one and so many of you really liked it and you wanted me to do kind of that more regularly. So if you've got any kind of questions that you'd like advice on, it can be on whatever topic you like, then just pop those in the comments below. I'm going to try and film that maybe tomorrow, because I'm not going to have time over the weekend, but to try and send me any of those questions in the comments, or on Facebook, or on Twitter, or on Instagram. Well, no, not on Instagram, why would you send me questions on Instagram? But I'll link all those down below, and I will list all the products that I've mentioned as well. But I hope you found this helpful. If you did, then don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!